Bose's QuietComfort Ultra Gen 2 is a shiny upgrade over the Gen 1. But next to Sony's WH-1000 XM6, does it still shine?
Let's talk about that shine, because the Bose Gen 2 have decided to go with this shiny accent on the yoke with this kind of polished look.
When we saw it in the initial images, I was like, I hope it's not that shiny.
And
it is very shiny.
It is very shiny compared to this nice full matte look you're getting on the Sony. Now, of course, these are different colors. This is like that violet and this is dark.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that even the dark colors are not this shiny, because not our favorite kind of look.
We'll do a comparison with the Gen 1 of this, but check out that video. But it is shiny. Take our word for it. And what do you like between the two if you look at the design?
First of all, these guys come in more colors, right? You get 4 colors on these. You get 3 colors on these.
Yeah.
The look is nice. I mean, how the cups look is very subjective, so that is up to you.
Yeah.
But both are foldable.
Yes.
They all come full circle. They from the 700, they from the XM5. Everybody folds now.
Yeah.
If you bring the cases out, I mean, if you can definitely see here, the Bose is definitely a smaller case. I'll give it that. The Sony does have this nice magnetic clasp. You can just pop open even with one hand, in theory. Yes, you can. And we did love this thing when it came out, didn't we?
Yeah, we were raving about it, and we said every headphone manufacturer should do it. We still stand by it, but they should just do it a little bit better.
Yeah,
different.
Because if you open up this, what you're going to get is these molds, which are very specific.
Yeah.
I like the cable compartment. It's on the side, doesn't interfere with the headphones, which in Bose's cases it does a little bit. But these molds make it that you have to put it in exactly right.
Yes.
Otherwise, this guy ain't closing.
No.
There's absolutely no play there.
And then it gets annoying.
Yeah. Whereas Bose is, also has molds, but
a little bit more forgiving.
Little bit more forgiving for the cans. These guys, the 2 cables you get here, if you're carrying both of them around, it can get messy with this. So, none is perfect, but the Bose is smaller. So,
correct.
That is something.
Yep. So, Bose is up the game in the charging and battery department. They are now 30 hours, which match the 30 hours on the Sonys.
Yeah, finally.
But one thing, though, Sony does claim fast charging. So, 3 minutes of charge gets you 3 hours of listening.
Yeah.
Whereas Bose doesn't make any claim on that department.
Yeah, strange.
So, yeah.
Now, Bose, one thing we are disappointed with is that they have kept the same control scheme, right? So, they're being a bit stingy here. They're just getting 2 buttons on this side.
2 tiny buttons.
2 tiny buttons. And they do double duty as well.
Yes.
So you're kind of double dutying play, pause, ANC, and pairing on this side.
Yeah.
And you're getting this volume slider thing, which you slide your finger on. Again, never been a fan of that.
No.
And they're still doing that. So
they are. Actually, the older versions of the Bose are much better. Yeah, all buttons.
The non-ultra versions.
The non-ultra versions, yeah.
Sony, on the other hand, has improved a lot, right? So there's this like circular recessed power button, which you're never going to confuse with the noise cancelling ambient button here.
Works really well.
Yeah. And you can really feel it. Like you don't have to do too much finger gymnastics. They also have 2 buttons, but what they do have is this touch panel, which can do a lot of things. It can do double duty on play, pause, volume control, track control.
Yeah, and it's very responsive too.
It's very responsive.
Only thing is, with touch, if you're wearing gloves, they won't work.
Yeah.
And if it's, really cold out, you're going to be using those gloves. And if you have wet hands also, it's not going to work.
And it's the same with the volume control on the Bose.
Same thing. So one thing, though, that each of these headphones kind of have integrated into that touch surface as a kind of an extra feature is that the Bose, if you long press that volume slider touch surface, you can configure it to do different things like Spotify tap. It'll pull up Spotify or your voice assistant or whatever.
Yeah.
And what Sony has done is quick attention.
Yes.
Right.
So if you hold it down, it goes into ambient mode and pauses your audio. So you're able to have a conversation with somebody.
Exactly.
I would give the win on controls to the Sony easily, because track control and stuff is way easier here than the Bose.
Correct.
But that's something.
And a la the AirPods Max, Bose in their previous generation has introduced this auto power off, so you don't have to worry about turning them off. You just take them off, put them on the table, and then just wear them again when you need it, and they power back on magically. Yeah.
And on the Gen 2, what you need to do is just take them, lay them flat.
Yeah.
And they are off instantly. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Where Sony's is more dumb. Like, it's like if there is no audio played for a certain amount of time, which you can configure, it just goes off, which also works, to be honest. But this is kind of sleeker, let's say.
Correct. Yeah. Let's talk about the comfort.
I'll give this completely to you.
All right. We've said this in the past multiple times. The Sonys are not bad. They have had a light implementation since the XM5s. What they did do on the XM6 is increase the clamp. That's a downside, guys. You do feel the clamp and it's less comfortable. And compared to the Bose, which has a lighter clamp, is much more comfortable on the ears. What the Bose also has going for it is it has deeper cups and it has angled drivers inside.
Yeah.
So your ear nestles into that cup a lot easier, than the Sonys. And the Sonys do touch up against your ears. It's not uncomfortable, but you do feel them there.
Yeah.
And so depending on your ear anatomy, they may be more uncomfortable.
And I think the headband as well, there's much less padding on the Sony than on the Bose.
Correct.
And I have a colleague who complains about the padding on the headband on the XM6.
That's right.
That might also be a thing, depending on the shape of your head.
Still, they nail it. It's still in the name. Makes sense. Let's move on. Active noise cancelling.
Active noise cancelling.
Yeah. So what the Bose now have improved is that you can actually turn off the noise cancelling, which you would be surprised was not a thing before.
Yes. You had to either choose between ANC or transparency, different levels. I think Bose is catching up in a lot of areas.
They are, aren't they? Yeah. Sony's always had it in the past. And on the Sony, though, as well as the Bose, you do get sliders, but they're slightly different implementation. So on the Bose, you can use a slider to go from max ANC all the way to transparency. Whereas on the Sony, you can switch between noise cancelling and transparency, but that slider is only available when you're in ambient mode. So there you get the slider. It's like a 20-step slider too. It's totally overkill, but it's there if you need it. Both of them we've tested completely, and we would slot them into tier S, which is the highest tier of noise cancelling. Not surprised here, guys. There are the flagship models of both these major brands. So yes, there's that. But if we had to pick one for the best implementation of noise cancelling, the Quiet in the QuietComfort still makes sense. It's the Bose. And that is just because ever so slightly the low end is cancelled out better on the Bose compared to the Sony. Transparency, again, like I said, tier S on both, but the Bose just feels slightly more natural. Yeah. But both are fine. Again,
I must say that this should not be the thing making a purchase decision. No. Both of them are excellent.
Exactly.
Now, feature-wise, Sony gives you a ton of features, getting adaptive sound control based on how you're moving, where you are, which location you're at, etc. You're getting speak-to-chat, so when you start talking, it also kicks into ambient mode. There's a shit ton of extras on this guy. Bose does have modes you can configure, so you can have different modes for commute, for traveling, for this and that. But the Bose also has something called Active Sense, which another fruit company also has a similar feature, which is if you're in transparency and there's a loud sound around you, it can shut down that loud sound instantly since it's so good at its processing of transparency. When you're in the wind, which we are a lot here in the Netherlands, we're cycling about, Bose has an option to turn wind block on certain modes.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of configure it. So maybe set up a commute mode. And so when you're on the bike or whatever, you just hit the button and you go into commute mode. There is no such mode on the Sony. It just does it automatically. Yeah. And it works pretty well. Both of them work pretty well, but the Bose works a bit better in cutting out the wind if you enable that. But what about transparency when you're in the wind?
Yeah, if you just set it on transparency mode, then it's also better on the Bose. It's just able to block out that wind a lot better than the Sony, whereas in the Sony, you do hear the wind much more clearly. For wind noise cancelling, again, the Bose is definitely the pick here. And in terms of all the other extra features that Sony has, again, it's up to you whether you're going to use those features. Do you use adaptive sound control at all, Rowan?
I've never used it, but I can imagine if I only used one headphones ever, maybe I would.
Yeah.
We have a few more headphones.
Yeah. Speak to chat is kind of handy. I like using it. Yeah.
Oh, no wonder it was on. Yeah. So annoying.
Sorry, man. Okay. Sound quality.
Audio. Now, let's just first get out of the way that both of these are active noise cancelling headphones, right? They're not going to be the best at this price range. So if you want to spend $400 or whatever the price is, just for audio, I would say don't get these. But these are a utility product. They're on-the-go ANC products. So given that, let's compare these two. None of these is for me problematic sound-wise. They're just like kind of different flavors, let's say. Sony, I must say, if I have a bias, it is towards the Sony sound signature because I like the Sony sound signature. It works for my ears, my head, whatever. Yeah. So it's my favorite between the two to listen to most forms of music because the bass is a little less in my face, even though both of these have tons of bass, like I said, ANC products. And I feel like Sony does a better job for me in the ear gain region, which is kind of where guitar notes on the higher end of the fretboard live. Yeah. Having said that, the Bose has that punchy mid-bass sound. And the Gen 2 does a nicer job than the older Gen 1, which we'll talk about in another video, of representing the highs. Okay. So really nice. One thing where the Bose does have an edge over the Sony in Gen 2 is audio over USB Type-C.
Right.
Which the Sony, you can use it when it's connected, but it's just charging. So you're not transferring audio over that.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bose is doing audio. You cannot use a microphone when you're connected over USB Type-C. So that's something to keep in mind. But other than that, Chai-Res audio, baby. High-res audio. But yeah, check out the merch for Chai-Res audio if you want to drink some Chai-Res chai in your cups.
Yeah, there's only one way to drink chai now.
In the Chai-Res audio cups. And all proceeds for merch till the end of the year are going to charity. So help out a good cause. Customization-wise on Sony, I think, again, it's a question of smarts versus super customization on the Sony. Bose has this crazy feature. You put it on your head. It analyzes your ear canal, tunes the sound to your ear. That's like next level futuristic tech. Sony doesn't do any of that.
Okay.
It gives you a 5-band EQ. It has a Find My EQ feature, which is kind of blind testing to see what you like. And the Bose just gives you a 3-band EQ. So again, there are different approaches here. I would be equally happy with both for sound on the go.
So in terms of codecs, you're getting the LDAC codec on the Sony and aptX adaptive on the Bose. Now between the two, we always say, go with LDAC because the reason is simple. There's just more phones out there that support LDAC.
Samsung,
for example, then that support aptX adaptive.
Every Android phone supports LDAC. You kind of know that.
Yeah.
On iPhone, you're both on AF.
Both are fine, so it doesn't matter. And there are a ton of extras as well. On the Bose, you get immersive audio as one of the, let's say, modes that you can go into, which has its ANC, but it's also a type of listening experience that you get. And a new addition on the Gen 2 is a cinema mode.
Which also the Sony has.
Which also the Sony has. And
there's a background audio mode on the Sony. So if you're studying or something and you want like music coming in from far away, you get that as well. So Sony, again, gives you a ton of options.
Yeah.
If you're a tweaker or tinkerer, it's a great set of cans to have.
I usually look up those focus or study audio playlists on Spotify and play those. But
now you can just switch a mode.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Extras. What are the extra features you're getting on these headphones? Well, to start off with, multi-point. Both of them can be connected and stay connected to two devices at the same time. And if you hop into the app, you can actually see which devices you're connected to or you've been connected to in the past, and you can kind of change connections there. Sony has always had the implementation of pulling a connection. You want to maybe?
Yeah. So what is pull connect? Let's do a demonstration. So say you're connected to, say this is a phone. It's not a phone, but it's a phone. So say this can stay connected to these two devices at once, right? And I've already paired it with this device at some point, right, in the past. So what you can do is just go to this device, which let's assume is a phone, go to the Bluetooth menu, select the Bose headphones and connect directly. So you're not putting the headphones in pairing mode again, going to the Bluetooth menu. So you're pulling connection from this device, and you can do that now on the Bose Gen 2, which you could not. So if you connected to these two, you would have to disconnect from the first one and then connect.
Correct.
But now you can just pull connection. So if any of you uses more than two devices, you will realize how valuable this is.
This is very useful.
I think most people use one or two devices and then it's not that valuable. But man, if you use more than two devices, this is super valuable.
Yeah. And I think because now that now Bose has introduced Pull Connect, I think it's the device to use when you have more than two devices. Sony does a very good job for sure. But what the Bose gives you on top of that is that they're able to read out the name of the device you're connected to.
Yeah.
And with that power button, if you press that once while they're powered on and connected, it can cycle through your list of paired devices. So you can automatically switch the connections straight from the headphones. You don't have to go into the app. You don't have to go into Bluetooth settings. No, you can just cycle through it. And that's something that the Sony doesn't have.
Yeah. I must say that the Bose on the Gen 1 did have connectivity issues on multi-point.
Yeah.
So far, and these are new, of course, we haven't faced that issue. I've used it on my laptop, my iPhone, my Android.
Yeah.
I haven't faced multi-point issues.
So happy about that. But we will report back if we
that needs some more time to get a usage report kind of thing.
Okay. Another extra feature on the Sony is that you're getting Auracast.
Yeah. So you can basically connect to a Bluetooth transmission somewhere in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which the Bose does not have. The Bose does. Both of them do come with LE audio though. Bose, like we said, in the past had this auto power off feature, but now because you can just unfold, or
if you do this,
that setting,
it's instantly off. You just put the cups down and it's off. And that's like seconds.
Yes. So another design element that I prefer on the Sony is that when you're wearing these and you have the right one on your head, you take them off, you can fold them, and they fold cushion down.
Yeah.
Cushion down, guys. That's where you want to be. With the Bose.
Are you team cushion up or cushion down?
Comment down below.
Yeah. Engagement, baby. All right, phone calls. There's a few samples we want to share with you first. Have a listen.
This is a quiet mic test on the Sony WH-1000 XM6. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is a quiet mic test on the Bose QuietComfort Ultra 2 headphones. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is a noisy mic test on the Sony WH-1000 XM6. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is a noisy mic test on the Bose QuietComfort Ultra headphones 2. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is a windy mic test on the Sony WH-1000 XM6. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. This is a windy mic test on the Bose QuietComfort Ultra headphones Gen 2. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing. All right, you heard the samples, but before we get into what we thought of them, and which one we think wins, there are a couple of features to talk about. So Bose has always had this feature called self-voice, which is how much of your voice do you hear while on a call, and you can actually change that from high, low, medium, and off. We always keep it in high. It's good to hear your own voice so you don't speak unnecessarily loud on calls. Sony has the same kind of implementation.
But it doesn't have a slider.
Sony
doesn't have a slider.
How is that possible?
That's crazy.
What the Sony does have, though, is the ability to mute microphones on the headphones, straight from the headphones. So the Bose does not.
Shocker, eh?
Yeah.
Used to have it.
The normal QCs do actually still have it.
Weird.
Yeah. On the Ultras, it was, apparently not an
There
Ultra
are
feature.
buttons, probably.
Yeah, bro. Bring buttons back.
Yeah.
So, but the rest works, right? So answer hang up, changing ANC, volume, all of that jazz. But coming back to the tests and how they did. So both are fine in quiet conditions. Those are not difficult. But the win goes to the Bose for all the rest of the conditions, for noisy and windy. So especially when speaking softly, the Sony really cuts out the voice regularly. And that's an XM6 thing. We've seen that less on the XM5. That's not what we're here to talk about. But anyway, the Bose, though, is able to sustain the voice clarity more often in all of those conditions. So you do hear more of the background noise and the wind on the Bose, but the voice isn't compromised, which is more important in our opinion. And so that's why the Bose takes the win. Now, if you've been following the developments of Bose and what they've done to their earbuds, their Ultra earbuds, is that they've introduced a feature called speech clarity. And boy, have they improved and upped their game in calls. We asked Bose, hey, what's the deal? Are you going to bring these to the cans? They do have intentions of doing it. There's just no confirmed timeline on it. So they're decent right now. We're hoping that they'll actually get really good.
And doesn't mess up.
That's very important.
Quality. It's better to keep it as it is now.
Yeah, don't pull a Sony. Please don't pull a Sony. Because they're worse on this model than the previous. Yeah.
All right. Which one do we get?
Yeah.
Price. $450. Pretty much $450 MSRP.
Yeah.
Our experience is that Sony often goes on discount, all models usually.
Yes.
And this has already been on discount a couple of times, which is crazy. It's been a few months since it's been out. Bose doesn't go on discount as often.
No.
But given that, let's assume they're the same price, right? Like, I think if it's significantly cheaper, I would go for the Sony. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But if they're the same price, irrespective of price, what would you buy?
Is it my? No, it's your turn this time. It's my turn every time.
All right.
You pick this time. All right. So before we get into which one of these we would pick, A big thanks to our patrons and YouTube members, especially these folks at the tested tier.
And these lovely people on the Fachmann tier. You can support us. Check out the links down below. Paula, Rachel, and Rats Panda. Thank you so much for your continued support. I think I'm leaning towards the Bose because I like the sound on the Sony. Okay. I like the controls on the Sony. I think I like the comfort on this guy. I would definitely go for a different color. This is the color Bose sent us. I do not like the shiny yokes.
No.
I do not. I mean, JBL had something similar, but I think this is much shinier.
Yeah.
Not happy with that.
I've got to agree. That was the most off-putting part of this product. I'm so happy that they've improved the multi-point situation. They've improved calls. And compared to the Sony, they're just more comfortable. That's the main thing, right? When wearing these things, if you need to wear them, you've got to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And so my pick is Bose, but not for the looks.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the other hand, I think even if there's a slight price difference, I'm going for the Sony because there's not too much in it in terms of sound. There's not too much in it in terms of calls. And I really like the controls on the Sony, which I use a lot.
Yeah.
Using ANC headphones on the go. You don't want to be pressing, long pressing and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah. I think it's so close.
And LDAC, right?
And LDAC, yeah. So yeah, I have a Sony bias as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, for traveling, these guys are still the king, man. I mean, of course, these are also good, but ANC, the comfort, the foldability, portability. Then, if you want to see the Bose Gen 2s and how they stack up against the Gen 1s, click here.
And if you want to see our roundup of the best ANC headphones, then click somewhere up here.
There's a lot of headphones in that. Do we?